Do you ever find yourself doing your old voice when you sing the old songs?
Oh yeah,
live?
I make fun of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like on Swing Swing, there's like the sun is gone, the nights are long. I'm like, what a dipshit.
Hey, I'm Brian Hiatt. We are in Austin, Texas. This is the Rolling Stone studio, live at South by Southwest. I'm so excited to be here with Tyson Ritter of All American Rejects. What's up, man?
Just partying, man. Making it through this magical shit show.
This is a really special time to be talking to you because you guys have your first album since 2012 coming out on May 15th. It's called Sandbox, and that is a long break. That is a long break between albums, but there was a period where you weren't sure you were going to make another one. Take me back to 2022. On stage at the When We Were Young festival and the moment when you realized that there's really a lot of life left in this band.
Yeah, that was a really cool festival for us to play. We hadn't done much in the decade before that as far as any sort of relevant festival, and we were kind of taking a piss going out there doing it. I had somebody just put me in a bunch of old man makeup. I thought it was just kind of this heritage kind of show about the scene. And it was kind of a scene we always kind of felt like bastards in, so it was a joke for us. But everybody out there, all the bands backstage, they were putting on the skinny pants and getting all their old uniforms on, and I remember just being like, this juice ain't gonna be worth the squeeze. And we stepped out there, and we were on the side stage, and I think it was like Paramore and Death Cab for Cutie were on, and we're like, we're gonna get snowed. And the crowd was ours. And they were singing deep cuts, loud, like when we opened up for Bon Jovi at the Garden, kind of like just the chorus of crowd that was singing these songs that we'd been kicking around for 20 years to much smaller crowds. That was a really revelatory experience for us because I think I really didn't give a shit about my band. I mean, it was great because it kept the lights on, but we kind of, having a decade when you haven't contributed to something, you kind of, especially something that you associate with a younger person. I always talk about the early years of this band as that kid. Like, man, that kid did a lot of cool shit for me, man. And here I was standing in front of this crowd who was so welcoming. Yeah, man, it's hard to turn your head away from like, man, maybe there's still some gas in the tank here.
It feels almost like a new band. It feels like you were coming from a new place, and it has like a lot of artistic juice in it. It feels like you really were kind of feeling very inspired.
I was. I think that they always say you have your whole life to write your first record, and I think that's the most honest thing that we've done. When we got on a major label, it was like I'm a product of a broken household, and I was signed when I was 16. And the first guy I met there, A&R, was my dad's age. Yeah. So you get this sort of dynamic of, I want to make Dad happy. And then finally when I grew up and, Dad kicked me out of the house, I thought about my life. This record's got a lot of my personal shit in it. There's a lot of, the thing that happens when you cross 30 is like, you have something, life hits you in the face, families change, relationships change. The world has changed so much. COVID. I had something to say, and this Sandbox feels like, it's very random, like musically, but I think we've always been that. But I feel like we've made a lot more strong choices as a band to just say, well, what can we do where we're not chasing some sort of major label expectation? What can we do for ourselves? There's so much music out there that I just don't believe is truth, especially in popular music. And it's like, is there truth left in this band? Do I have something honest to say? And I think I'm really happy with the way the record's turned out.
I feel like over the years, you've changed the way you sing. And on this record, I heard a few different approaches to the vocals, but none of them are sort of the earliest thing you used to do.
Yeah, I mean, it was like the first record, I was listening to all the records that were, popular in school. I come from a really lower middle class family, and so CDs were like a luxury. They were like $17. So I was, kind of raised on the back seat night drives of friends and their music, and I think that informed the way I started singing. But now that I've just gotten a little bit more comfortable with my own voice, I'm kind of going for just whatever it wants to be.
Was it like Blink? Was that a big thing? Or
Yeah, I feel like Blink and like Jimmy Eat World and like that shit was like ringing like bells in our high school parking lots.
Yeah.
And yeah, now that I'm a little older, it's like maybe I've had the time to like find myself.
Do you ever find yourself doing your old voice when you sing the old songs?
Oh yeah,
live?
I make fun of it.
Yeah.
Like on Swing Swing, there's like the sun is gone, the nights are long. I'm like, what a dipshit. But it's fun to make fun of that guy.
How do you feel about that when you listen to the debut and hear the drum machines too, which I actually think is really interesting? I know it was sort of it was almost necessity.
Yeah, we were a two-piece.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Korg Triton drum machine loops was our drummer for the longest time.
I think it makes that debut kind of, it gives it a special quality. It's kind of unique, you know?
Yeah, it was fun. We were listening to also like that, was it Ed Rose up in Lawrence that was doing like Reggie and the Full Effect, Get Up Kids, like all that sort of fused, like synth pop mixed with like bands. I love that first record. I'm proud of that first record.
So these house party shows you've done have been another big part of the sort of revival of the band. What do you like about that?
I mean, for us, it was we were so disenchanted from playing state fairs and casinos to keep the lights on when we were kind of down those years. The first thing we wanted was like I just want to get eye level with an audience, and connect. Like my favorite shows were like 150, 200 seaters because you could look at everybody and see if you were getting everybody off. It was this beautiful umbilical between you and the audience, and it was a two-way tube. You're feeding them, they're feeding you. And I think the house party tour was this wild sort of resignation to, oh, cool, so we can either, as a band, an independent artist and putting out new music, we can enter the landscape of digital advertising and creator buys on TikTok to be able to set up some false reality that this band is cool. And I think that's such a sad standard that's been perpetuated by the amazing amount of money that major labels are flooding at their tentpole artists. So we said, well, let's just take the 50 grand Kroger grocers just gave us to play a corporate show and get a bus, a PA, a trailer, no video walls, no fire shows, no production bullshit. Let's just play in front of some people that want to see a free show.
Yeah.
And everybody told us it was the dumbest thing we could do.
Who's everybody?
The management we had at the time, so we left them and took our genius 29-year-old named Megan, who had our brainchild of an idea. She believed in this band so much. We never had anybody that managed us that actually believed in our band. They were just they believed in the money we could make. But she believes in this band, and we're like, man, this kid, she gives a lot more of a shit than we do. Let's just follow her into this crazy drive. And it worked.
And you set up a whole platform for it. Playhouse, I think it's called. And I mean, that suggests you're going to do this again, maybe. Yeah,
we're going to do this again. Well, because when we put out the RSVPs, it was like this brand, co-brand, it was the largest data grab they had in the company's history. We had like 800,000 RSVPs in 48 hours.
Wow.
And then we also had another 25,000 venues that went from a 50-seat apartment, single-bedroom apartment, to an 18,000-seat high school stadium that the teacher got permission from the campus to be able to host shows. And it opens up this real conversation, I think, where we made this tool to be able to like actually wrangle this shit because it was just so feral. And the tool has become this idea called Playhouse, where you have all these big arenas, big stadiums, and now mom and pops have all been swallowed up by this undeclared monopoly. What about third spaces? This economy is struggling so much. What about the places that don't have a funflation ticket price to get in to trap you for another like Disneyland-like experience to go to a concert? And so I'm really excited about it because I think about the independent artists out there that have X amount of followers. They have an audience, but they can't afford to play a show. They can't afford to even get in the van. But what if they were able to reach out directly to their audience to say, hey, is there anybody who wants to come see us? If so, where? Oh, wow, we have a lot of fans in Des Moines, Iowa, and somebody wants us to play there. And we can route a small 4-show run starting in Des Moines and make direct income off of a ticket to a house instead of a venue that has so much overhead that, it's squeezing us out of the door, making us have to basically pay to play. As an artist, to go into a deficit touring, to have to pay to get your music in real life setting, that you didn't used to be the way. How is that still how is that even a standard that we've created as a society that like, oh, cool, if you're in a band, you're fucked. If you come off a awesome childhood upbringing through being raised in people's houses, like, I don't know. Seems like it's a very 1% game to get into a major label's doors, to get their money, to be able to go play and lose money. So what if there's a different way? Yeah. And Playhouse is offering that connection. I think, independent promoters, people that are fans of bands, we did a 30-person acoustic show for an artist in Pasadena. He made more money at that show than he and his band did selling out the Bowery Ballroom in New York City.
Jeez.
Yeah. That's just like, these are the times. So it's like, let's get punk rock with this shit.
Yeah. In your major label experience, you kind of saw both sides of it. There was a moment when you were kind of like, Jimmy Iovine really liked you guys, was pushing your singles. And then, you talked about, and I can really picture it in 2012 when you played what turned out to be your previous album, Kids in the Street, and you played it for the label, and then you really felt there was indifference. And I know Jimmy at the time, and he's awesome.
Foot out the door.
Yeah, he was giving like a sort of rock is dead rap to people on the label. I don't know if you ever got that rap.
He always gave me good face. But yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't even think it was rock is dead. It was this is how we do records here. Mm-hmm. Songwriting by committee.
Yeah.
Every other band was following, like, I remember
they made Weezer work with a bunch of co-writers around that time.
I don't know, dude. They didn't make them. Like, it's
make
a choice,
make is strong,
man.
but yeah.
You as an artist make that choice to say, "Cool, I'm gonna do what Dad tells me."
Right. Mm.
And I think there's a sacrifice of your own integrity that happens when you do that. And of course, it's experimentation. I think there's. I'm not saying that way is bad. I'm saying for me, it felt like, no, man, that's not my wave.
So you never took any of those meetings. You never even.
I tried. It felt like I imagine what porn is like. You meet somebody on the day. Apparently, you're gonna fuck them, and they're gonna get inside every bit of you, and you're expected to show up with that ease of saying, "Cool, take me." Somebody was like, I remember, like I sat in it was a popular songwriter guy, and he's like, "Cool, what's going on with you, man?" Like immediately trying to get in my head, and he's like, I said something about a hamburger. He's like, "Oh, that's it. Let's write about hamburgers." It's like, fuck me, man.
Did you like walk out or like?
No, I think I was too nervous that he even like it creates such an awkward thing, and I was just like, I left and I was like, I'm never doing this again. This is awful. This is soulless.
I do have some ancient gossip from that era. You can feel free to not comment, but there is supposedly you went on a few dates with Taylor Swift and maybe she wrote a song about you.
No, we met.
Well, that's good. Clear it up, please.
No, we met because we were going to honor her at some CMT thing, and I played her my record. Yeah, that's how rumors get awesome.
So there's just zero truth to that. Not even one date.
Absolutely,
nothing.
Man. Yeah.
That's actually crazy. I mean, this is like they think she.
I love the lore.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, isn't that like that's the whole thing is like lore.
Yeah. But you just squashed the lore.
Person. Yeah. No lore. I'm not that cool.
And now you've missed your chance.
Yeah. In 2012, I was also out of my mind, man. You would have sat with me and been like, dude, how much mushrooms did this guy have last summer?
Was it shrooms or was it what was going on there?
Oh yeah, no. I just had I had my lost weekend, man. It was fun. That's what late 20s are for.
You also, you are a good actor. That could have been your full-time career, but it seems like something you dip. It seems like something you dip in and out of. Was that ever a thought that you might just do that?
I like it a lot. I tried to do it very I was, for me, it was like, oh, I got to get out of this bed. Like, I got to make my own mark. I've been working on a musical for like the last 8 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we're putting that production together. I'm excited to star in that thing. That's going to be where I can really get my chops together.
Can you say what the story is, or is it too?
It's just about self-love, about finding yourself and not being dependent on someone else to define that for you.
Interesting. And so do you imagine Broadway? Is that the...
Nah, I want to make it a movie. I want it to be like a popsicle stick and yarn kind of Rocky Horror.
Oh, that's fun.
It's a wild world. It's called Shit Show.
Nice.
Yeah.
We have some like House Bunny fans out there, but people reminded me you were in that movie.
Nice.
I completely forgot.
Yeah.
That's a very funny movie. Any particular memories of that?
Yeah. I remember Emma Stone was smoking like a pack a day, man, and she had this raspy voice.
What?
Yeah. It was great. She was like a dame even then. Like she was you could just tell like she was beaming on set, even against Anna Faris, who was, she was living that character. It was a really great. It was me and Colin Hanks were the only guy principals in it. So I was basically like running errands to Crafty, getting girls snacks. It was fun.
What do you remember about writing It Ends Tonight?
I remember being in the bowels of some Atlanta hotel for $48 a night that I ended up getting bed bugs from. And we were like, there was something about, we had this really masochistic approach to punishing ourselves to get a record out at that time. I think we were running out of money. So our last sort of Hail Mary was to stay in Atlanta for 8 weeks and just practice the songs we had written. And my roommate was our guitar tech, and he was like, he was a dark spirit. And I remember wanting to kill him. Not maybe really, but I remember the song is kind of about wanting to kill your friend. Not really a love song. Somehow it became that, I guess, through the romance of the musical dressing. But yeah, it's not really a great song. It was inspired out of just seething hatred.
Well, Tyson Ritter, thank you so much for joining us here at the Rolling Stone Studio live at South by Southwest. It's great talking with you.
Great talking with you. And if you people at home were putting out these old guys are putting out a record called Sandbox.
May 15th.
May 15th. Mark your calendars.